Welcome to SHI'ßböX. Here's your host.
Oh yeah, hey everybody, welcome to SHI'ßböX. We've got a terrific and fantastic show planned for you today, and if you're thinking to yourself like, holy shit, how is there another episode of this? Well, stand back and we will reenact it for you. Okay, hold on. Sitting there. Oh. Phone call, huh? Let's take this. Shit. Hello. Damn it, I must have accidentally hung up on him. Well, guess I gotta go make one of these. All right, that's how it happened. So anyhow, we've got a fantastic show planned out for you today, and you might be saying like, hold on, I read the description. What is the tie-in with all things Xbox presented to us in a completely unbiased and a, front, just in-your-face way of all things Xbox, okay? I read the description. It doesn't line up. And just stay back, because we're going to tie it all in for you in a nice little Xbox package and bow. All right, so we're talking Magic the Gathering, right? And you're like, what? Magic the Gathering on a Xbox SHI'ßböX episode? That is not Xbox. And we'd be saying, okay, well, hold on. Is it not, though? Is it not Xbox? No, technically, it's Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, or whoever owns that shit now. However, when we first... Now, Magic's been around for decades and decades, right? There was always the nerd herd that would go around and such and play it in the school halls and everything, or in their lockers when they were put in there, okay? But that obviously wasn't us. Laughing doesn't count. It obviously wasn't us. But, there were kids. Man, Magic was around, okay? Folks would go play it in the libraries at the recesses or the lunches or whatever, okay? It's been around all over the place, right? Well, we never dabbled with it back then because we didn't know how awesome it was, okay? You're saying, what? Magic the Gathering's awesome? Yeah, it's just fucking awesome. It's good. It is chess with unlimited possibilities of different pieces that you can put on the board. Magic's been around for a long, long time, right? And it's not an Xbox thing. But we would have never played, dabbled with, or gotten into Magic the Gathering if it weren't for Xbox. Now, us here at SHI'ßböX, of course, we're all things Xbox, but say the power goes out, and you're like, shit, the power's out, I can't Xbox this is, and us here at SHI'ßböX, we're like, what are we gonna do? Maybe a game of Commander, maybe a quick game of Modern, maybe we'll just do some paper Magic the Gathering, right? Well, we would have never gotten into Magic the Gathering if it wasn't for Xbox, and you're like, what? That makes no sense. Did they literally force it down your playing sessions? It's like, no. But we adapted our playing sessions and forced ourselves to get into it more than we thought we would ever possibly do it because Xbox provided a little thing called Duels of the Planeswalkers. That's right. If you're thinking to yourself like, Duels of the Planeswalkers, was that just on Xbox? It's like, well, it was probably on PlayStation 2, and if we're being honest, we probably would have much rather grabbed nowadays PS5 controller with haptic feedback and been like, counter creature spell, attack for 3, lightning bolt, okay? That's not how Magic works necessarily, but you get the gist. It would have played better, probably performed better on PlayStation. But, us here at Xbox, SHI'ßböX, we're all things Xbox. And we, got Duels of the Planeswalkers on Xbox, okay? Now, maybe it wasn't on PlayStation even, but if it was, we probably would have rather had it there. But us here at SHI'ßböX are all things Xbox, and we got Duels of the Planeswalkers, and man, lo and behold, we went through everything it had to offer, even started doing little matches and stuff. And we're talking about, this was back in what? It was Duels of the Planeswalkers 2012 or 2013 or whatever it was. When they were doing almost yearly release iterations of it, which kind of messed them up a little bit on console. And this is prior to MTG Arena coming out and them dabbling with that. But if it weren't for Xbox, we would have never gotten into Duels of the Planeswalker. And what it was, is there was a free demo for this thing, right? And it's like, what? A free demo? Magic the Gathering? We've seen people play this game. We know that it's something with cards and magical creatures or something or another. What is this about? What is this free demo? And since at the time Xbox's main, releases for the system were, let's see, they had Rise, Son of Rome, and, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. They had Rise, Son of Rome. And it's like, once you played that and, all of its linear glory, don't get us wrong, we love linear games, and its limited decision-making glory that it doesn't really affect stuff, just like what part of the level you play, really. But all of that stuff, once you got past it and through it, it's like, what are we going to do now? Well, here's a bunch of free demos from stuff that Xbox didn't create, because let's be honest, they didn't really have a lot of stuff back in the day. It's like, hey, we got the Kinect, why don't you dance around like a fucking loon? It's like, we do that enough on the channel, we don't need a Kinect to do it. But we're all things Xbox here at SHIßböX, and so we got those free demos, and we continued to play on the Xbox when we weren't playing other titles on the PlayStation and stuff. And let's go where the sausage is made just real quick, okay? So you had, titles coming out and stuff on, like, the PS4 and, everything that, you could play. And it's like, okay, I got the original Xbox, yeah. I did Gears of War, whichever one came out and stuff, before the ones they have now with the all the chicks in it and stuff. Not anything wrong with that. It's just the difference, man. There are way more chicks than the ones nowadays. All right. But if you were playing on stuff like PlayStation, you had titles coming out like Last of Us, and, granted, this is one of the, remastered releases and stuff on the PS4 because it was so good. It's like, man, let me get this game. I want to play it again. And it's like, man, they could release this game every year, and it's probably worth picking up each time, if we're being honest, because, haptic feedback on the PlayStation is just insanely crazy, and it's like, man, let me go ahead and re-buy Last of Us and such. But then you had other titles coming out like Spider-Man, and it's like, okay, cool, I got Gears of War and stuff on Xbox, or I can swing through the city and fight crime. And it's like, yeah, I played Gears of War and I beat it and stuff, it was fun, it was cool, it's awesome, we love Gears of War, right? But then you're like, I'm the web slinger through the city and such. So, just really awesome. But we digress. So, you're in the arena of not having a lot to play on Xbox and stuff. And us at SHIßböX, that doesn't even bother us because we're used to Xbox not having a lot of hard-hitting titles. Like, there's some of their, big releases and stuff as of late. Starfield, right? Ever since they bought Bethesda. Well, we thought it was going to be like this super runaway awesome thing. And yeah, we had some fun with it, but it really wasn't as fun as The Last of Us. If we're being honest, we kind of like the story on Last of Us more than Starfield. But, that's neither here nor there. The point is that you had to embellish your Xbox playtime with free demos and, other indie titles and stuff like that. I mean, don't get me this wrong, too. They had, like, Sunset Overdrive, and that was cool. But then they're like, hey, Sunset Overdrive, fuck off. Why don't you go make an awesome-ass game like fucking Spider-Man? Right? And so, the Xbox, like, we don't care about Sunset Overdrive anymore. Remaster. We got a whole episode on Sunset Overdrive. We think. It doesn't matter. Us here at SHIßböX know you have to, add to your play experience on Xbox with all these external things like free demos and playing on other consoles or systems altogether just so that you have something to play. We're used to that. And so that's what we did. we got Duels of the Planeswalker free demo. It was so good. We went through it and stuff so many times that just little demo, one little level or aspect, it's like, man, let's buy this Duels of the Planeswalker with this gift card that we got. And it's like, oh, hell yeah. What else are we going to use it on? It's an Xbox gift card. You're not going to buy a game with it. Those don't exist. So you have to buy a game with it that does exist that someone else made. And that's what we did. And Duels of the Planeswalker became one of our first kind of purchases and such, in addition to the exclusive couple games that we had on Xbox that we, didn't have the other titles on another console and stuff for, or whatever, that were made there, because they just played better, performed better, whatever. Reason X, Y, and Z. With these Duels of the Planeswalker games, it teaches you how to play. It teaches you the concepts, the mechanics, how some interactions work, and because Magic the Gathering is one of the most complex games that you can ever possibly think, but with the stated rule of what the card says goes, okay, with the exception of other rulings that are out there on certain cards, it is something that one can pick up and learn and progress and kind of go with, but as it has been getting crazier and crazier, all right? And that's a whole nother thing with Magic the Gathering. You might just have to wait until a punk rock review of that one, man, to actually get behind an even further in-depth dive of Magic the Gathering and its trajectory. Man, that game has gotten wonky as shit with how now every single common, uncommon, rare, and mythic, every single one has a paragraph of information on it. You're reading a fucking book every time you play a duress because you gotta read fucking 7 cards that have 18 paragraphs on them. All right? A bunch of enter the battlefield, a bunch of random shit. They have paragraphs on so many commons and uncommons that when you open a pack now, right? Even on Arena, if you open an Arena pack, it's a fucking chapter of a book that you're unveiling and such in front of you, because every card just has that much fucking text on it. And it has ceased being a game about, interaction and stuff like that, because you can't interact with shit. You have everything now has protection. Everything now has a ward. Everything has wards that stack. They introduced fucking planeswalkers with ninjutsu. You gotta be shitting me. And that's not the worst of it. The planeswalker has fucking hexproof when it's your fucking turn. So you ninjutsu this motherfucker in on thing. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. The amount of shit that, Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, whoever the fuck is doing that shit has been putting in that game. It's fucking crazy. But we digress. Duels of the Planeswalker was awesome. This was back at its core. Anyone can get into Magic now and learn shit. There's just so much crazy shit. You gotta read a lot now. They need to refocus what they're doing, but that's a whole nother review. Let's get back on task. Duels of Planeswalkers, man, it set us up with a love and appreciation for Magic and everything like that. And it was something that we could play on the Xbox and such. And of course, like we said, this is before Arena. So nowadays, with, Duels of the Planeswalker being obsolete and things like that, if they had stuck with it, and instead of dropping yearly iterations of it, they could have made Duels of the Planeswalkers an arena-based, endeavor for Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro and all that to undertake. The coding was there, man. The, features, interactions and stuff, all that was there. Granted, not perfected or optimized as much as, a basic PC code and stuff allows for and such. But the foundation was there and was laid to where they could have continued that, and they could have, just constantly done improvements to it or anything like that and grown it and pushed it as a thing. Instead, they let it kind of fall by the wayside, man. They released a couple Duels of the Planeswalkers, man, maybe 2014, 2015, 2016. I don't know, whatever years it was, it doesn't matter. But, they stopped doing it, and then they, kicked it for a bit and then, took off with Arena. But those early days on Xbox and such, and everything that, was playable at the time. Once you played it and or played all the, kind of better stuff on other systems, platforms, things like that, you would go and you would find these games, and then you would actually grow to have an appreciation for things that you never thought you would. And that's where we came into contact with Magic the Gathering. That's where we fell in love with the game, man, and drove us to actually acquiring paper cards and, going and meeting folks that played and going and, having some fun with the, friends and such, and then learning about the game and growing with the experiences. And that's the whole thing. Like we said, it's chess. But we digress often and frequently, and, we're all over the place. But there is one thing that we're not, and that is doing any more of this episode because it's over. So we have come to the end of it. Remember, we don't want your subscription here. Just remember, go unsubscribe from 4 other channels that you're subscribed to. Go look at those ones, unsubscribe from them. Because here at SHIßböX, you're getting the raw, you're getting the uncut. You don't have a bunch of edited BS thrown down your face or a bunch of voiceovers over either our own gameplay or someone else's. You are getting the authentic, real deal. And the real deal about Xbox is that us here at SHIßböX love everything about it. Now, we would obviously be remiss if we didn't mention that, we love PlayStation as well, and, haptic feedback is kind of where it's at and such, and PS5 Pro's coming out. But we're all things Xbox here, and we are stoked for what they have, and we appreciate what they've introduced us to, even though what they've introduced us to now has become a giant fucking Wikipedia of shit you gotta read on cards. So, we love you, Xbox. What the fuck, Wizards of the Coast, are you doing with damn MTG? And that's about all of that. Okay, the episode's still over.